In today's lesson, we're going to be talking about convex mirrors. After watching this video, you should be able to describe the image formation for convex mirrors and draw a ray diagram for convex mirrors. Let's get right into what we're going to talk about today. A convex mirror, unlike a concave mirror, basically is a rounded out mirror. Okay, so the side where this lady is will be kind of silvered or mirror looking. Okay, and then behind it is actually going to be your focal point, which is right there, and your center of curvature, which is right there. Okay, so you'll notice that the focal point and the center of curvature are still along this thing called the principal axis. So that hasn't changed from concave mirrors. The only difference is that the focal point is actually behind the mirror. And so since it's behind the mirror, it will have a negative focal length. Right? That's kind of important to note. So convex mirrors have negative focal lengths. And so when we deal with problems with dealing with convex mirrors, you always will see the focal length being negative. And it's because that's just the way things are with these types of mirrors. Okay. So an image, again, is basically a location in space where it appears that light diverges from. Okay, so here is a convex mirror, okay, right here, this black line. And then there's an object put in front of it. Okay, and light comes off this object, hits the convex mirror, and an image is formed behind the mirror. So if your eye was here, you would see the image there. If your eye was here, you'd see the image there again, and so forth. Okay, you'll notice that the light, when it hits this mirror, it diverges from the mirror, and that's why the name is, sometimes why they call convex mirrors diverging mirrors, is because light actually diverges off of the mirror. It bounces off of the mirror. Okay. There are two rules for convex mirrors in terms of drawing ray diagrams, and these really aren't all that different from concave mirrors. If you can just keep these two rules in mind, ray diagrams aren't that bad. They do take a little bit of practice, but once you get rolling, they really aren't that bad. The first rule is that any incident ray traveling parallel to the principal axis on the way to a convex mirror will reflect in a way that that extension from the reflection will pass through the focal point. Okay, so that's rule one. And if I put a 1 here, maybe that kind of helps us remember that. Okay, that's rule 1. Rule 2, which is right here, any incident ray traveling towards a convex mirror such that its extension passes through the focal point will reflect and travel parallel to the principal axis. All right. Now again, there is a ton of text on this slide, and I think the text almost makes it look more confusing than it needs to be. So I'm going to go step by step through the rules to drawing a ray diagram. I'll do 2 example problems with you guys, and I really think the example problems are where like the meat and potatoes are going to be in terms of drawing ray diagrams for convex mirrors. Okay, so let's start talking about the 4 steps. Okay. The first step is you pick a point on top of the object and draw 2 incident rays traveling towards the mirror. Okay, and remember from concave mirrors, typically in problems we're going to be using an arrow. Okay, so I'm picking the top of the arrow, and I have 1 incident ray traveling parallel to this principal axis. Okay, so you can see it traveling parallel to principal axis, and the other one is actually, if you had a ruler and could extend this line, it's heading towards the focal point. Okay, so pick a point on the object and draw 2 incident rays traveling towards the mirror. All right. Once these incident rays strike the mirror, reflect them according to the 2 rules that we discussed in the previous, I think it was 2 slides ago. Okay. So one rule was that this incident ray that's traveling parallel to the principal axis will reflect. This red line is representing the reflection. It will reflect in a way that if I were to draw a line back, it would go through the focal point. And if you remember in concave mirrors, I discussed investing in a ruler and a pencil for drawing ray diagrams. I think would be one of the best investments you can make. And you probably could do it for under $5, I would guess. Okay, and the reason why is because you need to be able to draw straight lines when drawing these ray diagrams. Okay, the second rule was that this incident ray traveling towards the focal point. So if I were to like extend this line towards the focal point, it would go through the focal point, but it's going to reflect parallel. This reflection ray is going to reflect parallel to this principal axis, this black line going through the middle of the convex mirror. Okay. Step 3, locate and mark the image of the top of the object. Okay, so notice this is that if I extend this reflection back towards the focal point, and if I extend this line back, here is where our image would form. Okay, where these two lines intersect is the location of the image. Okay, that's step 3. Step 4, repeat the process for the bottom of the object. If it's an arrow, like what we'll probably be doing, you can basically just draw in the arrow like so. Okay, so that we drew the arrow in, and that's the complete image. Okay, so those are the steps to drawing ray diagrams dealing with convex mirrors. Okay. Let's do some 2 example problems again, to give you some practice on how to do this. All right, I'm going to draw a convex mirror, all right, and I'm going to draw my principal axis, okay, and I'm going to say this is my focal point right there, okay, and let's say, let's put an arrow way out here. Here is my object, okay, here is my object right there, okay. I'll switch it up here, get some different colors going. Let's use red. So I'm going to draw 2 incident rays, right? I'm going to draw one that is going parallel to the principal axis. Okay, and again, this is why a ruler is worth $1,000,000 here, because look at how crummy that line is, right? So a ruler would be useful. And the second one is going to head towards the focal point. And again, a ruler would be so helpful here. I just do not have the ability to do that, at least I don't know how to. But that's my best line, towards the focal point. Okay, so those are my 2 incident rays, okay? Now, we need to reflect them according to the rules that we set up a few slides ago. So I'll make my reflections yellow. This one, that went parallel to the principal axis, it's going to reflect in such a way that if I were to line this up, like here's the reflection, okay? This reflection should line up with the focal point. And you can see, again, I am sorry that is not straighter. I mean, like if I could make this better, it'd probably be more like this. This would be more like my reflection, okay? That reflection, if you trace it back, it should go through the focal point, okay? This one, on the other hand, when it reflects, it's going to be parallel to the principal axis, which I can draw that a little better, not a lot, but a little better. And then I'm just going to trace this guy back, okay? And where these 2 lines intersect, which would be right here, and I'm gonna let's pick a different color just so we can really, jazz this thing up here. Let's see here. Let's pick white. This would be the location of my image, right there. Okay, right there would be my image, and then I can draw in the arrow, right? I can draw the arrow in right there. Okay, and that would be my image. Okay, so that's basically a ray diagram for a convex mirror. Let's do one more example, just again for more practice. Okay, so here again is my convex mirror. Here is my principal axis. Here is my focal point, and I'm going to make my object a little closer this time to the mirror and make it right there. Okay. All right. So first thing, let's draw our incident rays, and we'll make them green this time. So remember, one incident ray is going to go parallel to the principal axis, okay, and then hit the mirror. The other one is going to be headed towards the focal point, okay, towards the focal point, which I hope that's towards the focal point, like that, okay? So those are my 2 incident rays, all right? Now, I'm going to draw the reflection, or the reflecting rays, okay? So this one that's parallel to the principal axis is going to reflect in such a way that it would actually go through the focal point. Okay, so I'm going to try my best to make this go through the focal point. There's my reflection. If I trace this back, it should go through the focal point. Okay, whereas this one that's headed towards the focal point is going to reflect in such a way that it's parallel to the principal axis. Even though that doesn't look very parallel, it's supposed to be parallel to the principal axis, and I can trace it back this direction. Now, where is my object forming? Well, where those 2 lines intersect is the point at which my object is going to form, which would be right there. Okay, I'm sorry, not my object, that's my image. I shouldn't mix those 2 up. So my image would be right there. Okay, and that's basically it. And again, it's just, if you practice this a few times, I highly recommend taking out a piece of paper and just do this. Practice the rules, draw things. Ray diagrams will become very easy for you. Okay, so that takes care of today's video. I will see you guys next time.